start off, let's make a player object, right? So let's drag this into the room so I don't forget, right? And let's make a sprite for it. Name it SPR player, right? 64 by 64 is fine, just make it a white box. That's good. So make that the sprite of the player over here. Great. So now we're gonna make it so its image angle changes depending on kind of where you're aiming, so you can know where the bullet's gonna come out of, that kind of thing, right? Really easy. Image angle is equal to, this basically tells you which direction your mouse is pointing in relation to the player. So it's point direction x, it's players x and y, and then mouse x and mouse y. Now this would be like, no, this is gonna be fine, this is fine. Okay, so now if we can run this, you'll see my image angle should be, yeah, perfect. It's pointing towards there, but we do want to change the thing so it's in the middle, the center of the player, middle center, change that to middle center, good. So now that'll work a bit better. And actually, to make this easier to see, for width, I'm going to make a little thing, so you know where your thing is shooting out of. So that, there. This might not even be in the right place, but at least we'll know which direction it's pointing properly now. Have a little stump on it, that's good. You don't have to do that, it's just to look easier. So alright, so now we've got an image angle pointing, perfect, so now you can look around and all that, like the player does. We're going to want to make our bullet, right? So create an object called obj bullet. Now this is where the actual Hitscan algorithm comes in, right? So we don't need a sprite for the bullet, right? We're going to go to the create event, right? Delete that. Alright, just fixed the recording issue. Good. Okay. So now that we're in here, for the create event, we're going to have 5 variables. Now, first one's going to be draw alpha, so we can know, like, oh, I forgot to explain. It's gonna be like a fading effect as the bullet goes on, so it's gonna look cool like that. The next one is gonna be a check. You'll see how this comes into play later. And then previous x and previous y. Prev x, right? Is equal to x, right? And previous y will be equal to y. Great. So this is basically to you'll see. It's going to draw like little lines over and over until it finds the right place to stop. So it'll stop exactly on your target, can't go past. It'll know what it's hitting. Super easy, super simple script. And damage is equal to true. This is basically just checking if, like, for example, if it's already gone through an enemy. It's just to make sure shit all works. Okay. Next one. We're gonna actually like code everything into the draw event, because it's just a bit easier to do, because we're actually gonna be drawing, so it's best not to separate it for this, so it's all gonna be in the draw event. Right, so what we're gonna have to do now is we're gonna basically check current x. We're gonna add onto, at the start we're gonna add onto the thing, because we're like adding onto the line that it's drawing. It's making it bigger and bigger. So what we're going to want to type in is current x is equal to previous x plus, now length dir is just checking how far, you know, something is from. You can look at the actual like the manual if you want to know, because I'm not good at explaining stuff on the fly. Length dir x, right? 3. And in the direction of image angle, this will be set when you create the bullet in the player, which we're not going to do yet. Right, so you can kind of just go ahead and copy that line and replace all the x's with y's, even in the statement here. Yeah, that's the start. Great. Now if check is equal to true, this is if we're checking the whole thing. We're going to repeat 300 here. Now, the reason I'm doing this, I'll show you why. We'll start with 300, we can increase it later. It's basically how many little segments the bullet should go. You can make it as big as your screen, as big as your like GUI, or you could make it as big as your whole map. Obviously like performance will go down the bigger it is, but it's relatively good on performance. Doing this, you should still get Even if there's like multiple bullets on screen, you'll get 10,000 FPS plus if you have a decent computer. So you're fine to add whatever you want onto it for your actual game. So this is where we're finding collision. Collision line is really helpful. It can check collision line. So let's create like a variable. We'll call it col, right? Temporary variable for collision. Collision line, right? So this is where we're drawing the line. We're drawing it from previous x and previous y to current x and current y. So that's where those variables come in. Great. And now what we're checking for is obj enemy. That doesn't exist yet, so let's go ahead and create that once I finish this line of code. Now, precise, we don't need it to be precise, it's good enough. And not me, do we need to check for not me? Well, the player isn't an enemy, and the enemy won't be shooting yet, so we can say false. And we're going to create the bullet above it, so it doesn't actually matter, so you can... actually no, true. True means it's not me. It doesn't matter, just in case. So, there you go. Let's create our enemy object like we were going to before. And we don't actually need to create a new sprite. We can just set it to the player sprite and then go into the create event and change the image blend, which is basically its color, to sea blue. We'll make the enemy red actually. We'll make our enemy red. Great. So now I'll put the enemy in the room just so it's there. Back to the bullet. So we got our collision line. That's just showing up because we haven't referenced that. We've only referenced it once, but it's fine. It'll go away eventually. So now we're checking if collision is equal to no one. Oh, it's not equal to no one. So that's basically if it's found something, if the collision's actually found something. Check is equal to false. So it doesn't need to check again. It just does one little thing. Now, if can damage is equal to true, which it should be, right? Because we set it in the thing. But if it's not, then it won't bother doing all this stuff. We'll be fine. Right, so with collision. So basically this is with the collision line kind of thing. You need to do that in brackets, I'm wrong. Hold on. Good. Okay, so this is with the other enemy, the code of it, right? Let's make it instance destroy itself, right? Instance destroy. Great. So that should be good. Where should I be now? By now. Okay, so still in repeat 300. At the end, we're going to say can damage is equal to false afterwards, right? Sorry, can damage is equal to false. Great. So now we're outside of that. We're all good still. Hold up. That was in the wrong place. Give me a sec. Yeah, paste that up there. Whoops. I'm not... Yeah, sorry about that one. Okay. But now, after that, so even if collision is not equal to no one, we're still going to do all this code at the bottom, which I'm about to write. So that's why it's outside of this bracket, right? But if it is equal to someone, so here, can damage equal to false. But if it's not, we keep going and make the line bigger, basically, is what we're doing. Right. So here we go. Now we're checking for the wall. Now, you can add a wall object as well if you want as well. We'll just make that a wall. Same sprite as the player. Do the same thing again when we change it. Image blend is equal to sea blue. This one's actually sea blue, so add a wall in here, right? It's the wall, so you can't hit it, basically. Oh, that's a bit messed up. Let's just keep copying walls everywhere. So these will be our walls. You can do whatever you want with them, but I'm putting them in a random place. You can make them a new sprite, because I don't like that sprite, but what can you do? Okay. So now we're checking for our beloved wall. So we're doing it again. Var col. It's the same because it's that you can do that with variables. It'll just overwrite the previous one, but it's okay because we don't need the previous one. We can actually copy this completely because we only need to change a couple things about it, right? All we need to change is obj wall. I'm not the best at Gamemaker, but this script that I wrote worked for me, so I think it's good enough. Now we're checking if collision is not equal to no one, right? Check is equal to false. Can damage is equal to false. This is so you can't shoot people through walls now. In case something goes wrong in the script, you still won't be able to shoot through walls. Good. Okay. There's not much code to go, so don't worry. Now, if check is equal to false, right, we're gonna break. So we stop checking, stop the repeat 300. We're still inside of that, remember. So we just get rid of the repeat 300 and we stop drawing the line. We stop making the line. We haven't actually drawn the line yet, but we stop checking for the line. There you go. So now we just reset our thingo back to move our line forward. Previous x is equal to current x. Great. And remember at the start over here we'd set it to that. And then we add on to it next. Hold on, let me just finish this. Previous y is equal to current y. Great. So now current x is equal to previous x. We're adding on now properly. Plus length dir x. Did I spell that wrong? Yes. Sorry. Length dir x. You know how to spell, I don't. 3 image angle. Perfect. Again, you can copy that and replace the x with y. And this should work perfectly, basically. Right about now, it should work fine. You can't exactly test this, though, before we're done, so that's why I haven't done any tests, and we haven't started up. But it's okay, it should still work. Now, this is where the fun part comes in the drawing. We're going to minus equal draw alpha 0.03. Only a couple lines to go, don't worry. All the other tutorials were like 200 lines long, so this one's only like 35, don't worry. Draw set alpha. So we're making sure we're drawing in our draw alpha variable. We're drawing in that alpha, in case you don't know somehow, it's basically just like opacity. 1 is highest, 0 is least. And so we're making it less and less as you shoot, like so, as like a little effect. It looks nice. Line 31. Now this is where we actually draw our line, so draw line. X, Y. We're going to draw the entire line, not just our little segment of it. Current X and current Y. And we're going to draw set alpha back to 1 in case any other objects. This applies to all objects, so you know. Now we're going to make this is for like to make our game speed up. We're going to just destroy the object, so it's get rid of the bullet once the alpha reaches 0. That means it's gone too far. Don't need to worry about it now. It can't hit anyone. We just delete it. Instance destroy. So before we were just destroying the enemy, but now we're instance destroying ourselves. This should be it. If it doesn't work, bear with me. I can probably find what's wrong and fix it quickly. But we don't have any errors, so okay, there we go. That's it. Create line 1 for enemy. Image blend. See, okay, yeah. Sorry. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be equals sign, not in brackets. Okay, that's it. Perfect, so I can aim around. The bullet doesn't shoot. Whoops, okay, well, let's see. Oh, I forgot to code in the bullet. Hold on. This won't take long. So, if mouse check button pressed, right? MB left, so we're checking if we're pressing the button. There's a difference between button check pressed and just button check. Button check checks if it's held down, it'll run once every step, which is 60, by the way. See, 60 frames. You can lower that if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. 60 is what you should be. Programming 4 basically limits the frame rate. Now we create the bullet, right? I do have like a sample project set up which I'm copying this from that I've made before from an actual game I've made, but I'm not copying this because it's too far away. I'm not going to switch to it, so I'm going to try just code. So we're going to like x plus length dir x. So length, let's make that 15. That's basically makes the bullet spawn in front of us instead of inside of us. Image angle. Easy. Okay, so you can do the exact same with y. Y plus length del Y, image angle, and the layers. The layer we're using is instances. It's the default layer. I barely ever change it. Just it's there. Instances layer, right? Now the next thing is obj bullet. Great. Now, here's the thing. We do need to reference it, so we're going to name it var inst is equal to, and then we're going to go to the next line and say inst dot image angle is equal to image angle. The image angle might be a bit off, but we can tweak that because it works in weird ways. Perfect. We have ourselves a bullet that moves perfectly and stops exactly where we want it to. That is 100% working now. It works exactly like how I wanted it to. You can even add more enemies if you want. You can do whatever. You can hit the very corner of the thing and it'll still register. It's perfect. It works great. You can add movement, add whatever. If this video gets like a couple hundred likes, I'll do a full series on how to make top-down shooters. Now that I've got this bullet stuff, I can improve bullet effects. I'll show you all that stuff if you want me to. If this video gets enough likes, but basically that's enough. That's all there is to show. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and bye bye.